The music thumped softly through the grand ballroom, blending with the hum of conversations and clinking glasses. Elena stood near the edge of the crowd, trying to steady her breathing. Her eyes had already locked onto him, her ex. He stood across the room, laughing with someone as if the past meant nothing, as if he hadn't left her broken. The sight of him sent a cold wave through her chest. She needed a way out. Fast. Her gaze darted around until it landed on a man standing alone. He was tall, dressed in a sharp black suit, his posture calm and composed, almost detached from the chaos around him. Something about him felt different. Without giving herself time to think, Elena stepped toward him. "Please," she whispered, her voice barely holding together. "Just dance with me. My ex is here." For a brief second, he studied her, his dark eyes searching her face as if weighing something deeper than her words. Then, silently, he took her hand. The moment they stepped onto the dance floor, everything seemed to fade. His hand rested firmly at her waist, guiding her with effortless precision. Elena felt a strange sense of safety, like the world couldn't touch her as long as she stayed within his arms. Then her ex approached, his expression tightening. "Elena, we need to talk." Before she could respond, the stranger pulled her closer, his voice low but sharp. "She's busy." There was no raised tone, no threat. Yet something in it made her ex hesitate, and step back. Elena's heart raced, but not from fear anymore. For the first time that night, she felt protected. She didn't know who this man was, but somehow, he had already changed everything. The next morning, Elena woke with a restless feeling she couldn't shake. The memory of the dance lingered, his steady hand, his calm presence, the way her ex had backed down without a fight. It didn't make sense. Nothing about that man made sense. She tried to move on with her day, burying herself in work, but her thoughts kept drifting back to him. Who was he? And why did he feel so different? By the time evening came, she convinced herself it was just a strange coincidence. Until she saw him again. He was standing across the street from her workplace, leaning casually against a sleek black car as if he had been there for a while. The moment her eyes met his, it felt intentional, like he had been waiting. Elena hesitated, then slowly walked toward him. "You," she said, her voice more curious than cautious now. "Adrian," he replied simply, as if that explained everything. Their conversations were brief at first. He didn't offer much, but somehow, he always seemed to know what to say. It was unsettling, and comforting at the same time. Days passed, and Adrian kept appearing, never intruding, just there. Watching. Present. Then one night, Elena's curiosity got the better of her. When she saw him leave in a black car, she followed from a distance. The city lights faded as the streets grew quieter. Finally, the car stopped outside a heavily guarded building. Elena froze as men stepped out, armed, alert. And then Adrian emerged. But this time, he wasn't the quiet stranger. The way the men straightened, the way they looked at him. It wasn't respect. It was fear. Elena tried to convince herself she had imagined it. The armed men, the way they stood around Adrian, the fear in their eyes, it all felt too unreal to belong to the same man who had quietly danced with her. For 2 days she avoided him completely, changing her routine, leaving work early, ignoring every instinct that told her to look for him. But avoiding Adrian was impossible. On the third evening, as she stepped out of her apartment building, she saw him leaning against his car, exactly like before. Calm. Patient. As if he knew she would come. "You followed me," he said, not as a question. Elena stopped a few feet away, her heart pounding. "You lied to me." "I didn't tell you anything," he replied evenly. That answer only made it worse. Before she could respond, a sudden screech of tires cut through the silence. A black SUV pulled up too fast. 2 men stepped out, their eyes locked on Elena. Something about them felt wrong, dangerous in a way she couldn't explain. Adrian moved instantly. He stepped in front of her, his entire presence shifting. The calm stranger disappeared, replaced by something cold and controlled. "Get in the car," he told her, his voice leaving no room for argument. The men hesitated when they recognized him. One of them muttered something under his breath, and just like that, the tension snapped. They backed away. Drove off. Elena stood frozen. "What just happened?" Adrian turned to her, his expression unreadable. "The part where you realize," he said quietly, "that being near me isn't safe." Her breath caught. "And still," he added, opening the car door, "you don't want to walk away." Elena didn't get into the car immediately. She stood there, staring at the open door, her mind racing. Every instinct told her to walk away, to go back upstairs, lock her door, and pretend none of this had ever happened. But her feet refused to move. "Get in," Adrian repeated, his tone quieter now, but no less firm. Reluctantly, she slid into the passenger seat. The door shut with a heavy click that felt louder than it should have. As the car pulled away, silence filled the space between them, thick and suffocating. "Start talking," Elena said finally, her voice tight. "Who were those men? And why were they looking for me? You don't get to drag me into something like this and then stay silent." "I didn't drag you into anything," Adrian replied sharply. "You stepped into it the moment you asked me to dance." The words hit harder than she expected. The car stopped suddenly in front of a quiet, upscale building. Adrian turned to her, his expression colder than she had ever seen it. "From this point on, you stay where I tell you, you go where I say, and you don't ask questions that can get you hurt." Elena's eyes flashed with anger. "You don't control me." For a moment, something flickered in his gaze, respect, or warning. "Then prove it," he said quietly. "Walk away." But neither of them moved. Elena pushed the car door open and stepped out, the cool night air hitting her face like a wake-up call. For a moment, she just stood there, breathing, trying to gather the courage to leave. This was her chance. Walk away, forget Adrian, forget the danger, forget everything. But her legs felt heavy. Behind her, the car door shut softly as Adrian stepped out. He didn't reach for her, didn't try to stop her. He simply watched, his presence steady, unreadable. "You can still go," he said. Elena turned slowly, her eyes searching his face. "If I walk away right now, will this all disappear?" A pause. "No." That single word settled deep inside her. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed in her hand. An unknown number. Hesitating, she answered. "Elena," a familiar voice said, sending a chill down her spine. Her ex. Her grip tightened. "How did you get this number?" A low chuckle came through. "You think you can just disappear? You've been asking the wrong people for help." Her eyes snapped to Adrian, panic rising. "What do you want?" "To warn you," he said. "The man you're with, you have no idea who he really is." The line went dead. Silence followed, thick with tension. Elena looked at Adrian, her heart pounding. "Then tell me," she whispered. "Who are you?" For the first time, Adrian didn't deflect. His jaw tightened, and his voice dropped, colder than ever. "I'm the reason people like him are afraid." Elena's breath caught. "And if you stay," he added, "you become part of that reason too." Elena felt the weight of his words settle over her, heavy and inescapable. The city noise seemed distant now, like everything outside this moment had faded away. She searched Adrian's face, hoping to find doubt, hesitation, something human she could hold on to. "What does that even mean?" she asked, her voice unsteady. Adrian stepped closer, not enough to touch her, but enough that she could feel the shift in the air between them. "It means my world doesn't forgive mistakes," he said quietly. "And it doesn't let people walk in and out freely." Her chest tightened. "So I'm trapped?" "No," he replied. "You're choosing." That word hit harder than anything else. Before she could respond, Headlights flashed across the street. Another car slowed nearby, too slowly. Elena instinctively stepped back, her pulse quickening. Adrian noticed immediately. His entire posture changed again, alert, controlled, dangerous. Inside. No, he said. This time, she didn't argue. They moved quickly into the building, the doors shutting behind them with a solid thud. Inside, the quiet felt unnatural, like a pause before something worse. Adrian locked the door, then turned to her. You see how fast this happens? He said. One moment you're living your life. The next, you're a target. Elena swallowed hard. Because of you. Because of where you stand, he corrected. Silence stretched between them. Her heart was still racing, but beneath the fear, something else grew. Clarity. She took a slow breath, meeting his eyes. Then stop deciding for me. Adrian didn't speak. For the first time, the power between them shifted. And this time, Elena didn't look away.